Reckoning Paladin is one of those few classes that can just kill like 3 people on its own without any problems. It's excelling against melee and it's much weaker against casters. It's an absolute beast in battlegrounds. Completely shuts down basically all melee in the game. Warrior, rogue, hunter, melee shamans, druids, they don't stand much of a chance at all. Basically the whole point of Reckoning Paladin is every time you take a critical hit you stack up an extra auto attack, and that stacks up to 4 times. So including your normal auto attack, you can do 5 auto attacks at once. The thing is with that as well, it scales with Seal of Righteousness and on hit effects as well. They count per every auto attack and also every Seal of Righteousness proc. So if you're using Ashbringer or something, you can proc it around 12 times. The Reckoning spec is absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the best battleground specs you can go. It's probably more useful than a mage or a healer, and in general, just if you're on the field, you're such a target. You have such survivability, you have such burst. If you play it properly, you can just choose a target to just remove from the fight entirely. You can just stand and absorb stacks in the middle while you're trying to support others. And then when you have 5 stacks, you go and find a healer, you hand off Justice them, and you just one-shot them. No other class can really do that, at least not to the same extent as a Reckoning Paladin can. There's a few downsides to Reckoning Paladin. One of them is they are very weak against mages and priests. Warlocks are tough too, but a warlock you usually can beat warlocks, but mage and priest, they hard counter you extremely, and you need to switch trinkets and gear to stand a chance against them, at least in 1 versus 1s. Elemental shamans can be tough too, depending on if they get crits on you or not. There's time where they can just absolutely one-shot you and you don't get the chance to even react. But other than that, Reckoning Paladin doesn't have many other weaknesses than that. Another bad thing about Reckoning Paladin though is it's extremely gear dependent. Personally, I would not play Reckoning unless I had one of the base specs that I'm about to showcase you all. If I didn't have full gear, I would probably play either Holy, Shockadin, or possibly even Deep Ret. They're much more viable if you have weaker gear, but Reckoning just outperforms when you have full bis, and it's not even close. Every time I switch away to try some other spec, I always just miss Reckoning right away because it's just so much better. Anyway, let's go into the gear and talents. Talent points. So there are 2 viable Reckoning builds you can go. Let's go over them. You have the normal classic Reckoning. This is like the standard one. And then you have the battleground / a little bit more survivability / supporting spec. Now, the classic one is better if you want to do world PvP on your own, like if you're running zone, like if you're out in open world zones or in battlegrounds, if you want to be able to win those 1 versus 1s, this one is better. While the defensive one, this one is better if you want to you have these uninterrupted heals. So in battlegrounds you put on concentration aura and you kind of stand and absorb hits while you're casting heals. You cleanse, you apply freedom to your teammates, and once you get like 3 or 4 stacks, you run in and you do like a little bomb on the target. Now I'd say this spec is much better for battlegrounds. Well, again, this one is better for like if you want to be able to kill targets. Now let's go over this one first, because this is like the standard classic spec that most Reckoning Paladins will go. And this is the 100% most optimal best version you can go. There's people putting points in all kind of different talents, but it's kind of useless and I'm gonna go into it. So Devotion Aura is much better than Redoubt because you want bonus armor. If you're fighting a warrior, you want to stick on your two-hander. You never really want to swap to a shield. The only ever time you swap to a shield on Reckoning is if you're like, let's say you're fighting 3 people and you manage to kill 2 of them and you have like no mana, nothing left, and you swap to a shield to try to just survive a bit longer. But if you're dead, you're dead. You know, switching to a shield is not gonna save you anyway. Precision, hit, no-brainer. Depending on your gear setup, you could remove 1 point and put it like this, but rarely will you have like the gear opportunities to do that. So precision, you want Guardian's Favor. This makes your Blessing of Freedom basically only have 4-second cooldown. But like you need this against mages and hunters. Toughness is good, gives you bonus armor, kinda no-brainer. Kings is very important for yourself and teammates. Usually against most melee classes you use Kings, while you use Might against Cloth and casters. Defense, usually 2 to 3 points is more than enough. You want to hit that 325 defense for that 1% chance to miss. So 3 points is usually enough. Improved Hammer of Justice, no-brainer. Of course, the Reckoning. On this side note, you can go Benediction instead of improved Blessing of Might, but you usually use rank 1s and you're not gonna spam Judge anyway, and the mana cost isn't that great. The only thing really Benediction does is if every time you seal twist the Justice one, which you shouldn't do that all the time anyway. You benefit more from Blessing of Might. It's also good for your teammates if you run Battlegrounds. Parry, most important one, I would say out of all of these, the parry one. If you parry an attack, it resets your autos. So let's say you do an auto attack against like a warrior, and then you parry, you basically get an instant new auto attack. So parry is amazing. This point, you could put this in Vindication instead. However, you don't really want to reduce your enemy's agility. You want them to critical strike you. So, and it doesn't really do anything against casters at all. So you want that 1 point in Judgment. Of course, you want your crit rate, Seal of Command, Pursuit of Justice. This leaves you an enchant on your boots. You can put +7 agility, which is about 0.40% crit rate. Usually this will help you get to the next bracket. Like if you miss a little bit crit to like get to 27, you know, that will help you with that. Or if you need that 70 HP to get 5k HP, you know, this opens up a good slot for your boots, and it also improves your mount speed so people can't flee from you. Eye for an Eye, super important against casters. This can crit too. So let's say this applies, like a caster crits you, and they crit you for a lot. Let's say they crit you for a lot, and this can crit them as well. So they take a lot of damage from this. This is the most important talent for fighting casters. Two-hand specialization and Sanctity Aura. So what I usually do is I run Devotion against Rogue and Warriors, and Hunters too, and then against casters I switch to Sanctity, and then Vengeance, the 1 point. Now 3% does not sound like much, but it's 3% physical and holy, so it's kind of 6%, and that stacks up. That adds you a lot of damage combined with all of this. Which is the difference between these two specs. You don't get the specialization, no sanctity, and no vengeance. You more or less always run concentration aura. Unless you fight again melee, then you switch to devotion aura. This will give you though 15% resistance to like silence. Like I think it stops the. This can give you a chance to evade the silence that mage put on you, stuff like that. It's useful to have this on all the time in battlegrounds. But if you're in a moment where it's like 3 warriors are on you or 2 rogues are standing on you, devotion aura. Now, when you have concentration aura active with spiritual focus, your heals can't be interrupted. So you can just stand and heal, and yeah, it's pretty useful. Again, you get less points. You don't get the pursuit of justice, so you have to put minor movement speed on your gear, on your boots. But you kind of just lose out on the damage. And on this build, I think you want to do the twisting more often. So Benedict, and you also, I also apply Seal of the Crusader on targets, because again you do less damage, so you do use your judgments more often. So benediction is a bit better. This build is not, you're not maximizing damage. The downside with this build is it's terrible against casters in my testing. You just don't have that much damage. They usually, you can't really, the one shots are not as strong, while on the normal one, if you have like full stack and you use a bomb, usually the target dies. Even if it's a terrible bomb, they usually die. On this one, it doesn't do as much damage. But again, if you're doing battlegrounds, you know, say you're rank 14 and you're just doing battlegrounds for fun or whatever, you have decent gear, and you want to win and be useful, or in pre-mades, I would recommend this one. Anyway, that's the talents for Reckoning. So these 3 versions are the absolute best in slot for Reckoning Paladin gear-wise. We have the first one. This is the standard. Most famous paladins use this. Good paladins, this is like the default best in slot one. Secondly, this is my version. I've had better experience running this setup. The difference is this one does a little bit more damage and has more utility, but a little bit less HP than the standard one. And thirdly, we have the highest possible damage one. So let's go over them one by one. Now the classic one, you have rank 14, but you get these at rank 13, you know, PvP gear. Field Marshal helmet with the sigil, Sadist collar, Grand Crusader with damage enchant, Cloak of the Golden Hive with 1% dodge, Avenger breastplate with plus for all stats, wrist guard of vengeance with stamina, PvP gear rank 13, the gloves with agility, girdle of the mentor, Grand Crusader with sigil, rank 13/14 PvP boots with stamina, bronze dragonflight, the agility one, Ring of Reckoning, Slayer Crest, Burrower, Might of Manifilm with Crusader, and Libram of Hope. This is a very survivability-ish version. With Kings, your HP will go to 6k, and your crit will be 27, and you basically hit all the check marks for your stats. You'll have your 5% hit, and it's overall very versatile. It's very, very good overall. Not much to say about it, really. I mean, this is what most people are using. My version is still the same. The difference is we use rank 13 shoulders, and we swapped the rank 13 boots because we have their rank 13 boots on the normal one. We swapped that to Boots of the Fallen Hero. Now this gives us 1% more hit and more agility, so we get higher, I think, dodge. We get a bit higher dodge. You get more in game. These stats are not fully accurate. They're like an estimate. You get like 1/2% more dodge in game with this setup. You get 1% more hit, so your hit goes from 5% to 6%, so this is much better against tanks. You lose some HP, you get a bit more damage, and yeah, it's still kind of the same though. You also swap out the Sadist for Storm Rage to get that 1% extra crit. So instead of sitting on 27 with Kings, you sit on 28. And then on your trinkets, you queue it with, and you use an, what's it called? Now you queue this with Item Rack, and then when it swaps, it swaps to Black Hand. Where is it? This one, which gives you 2% crit. And then you reach 30% crit rate, so you crit way more often on this setup, and crits are massive on Reckoning. It's absolutely insane. And then lastly we have the highest possible damage one. Now people don't really understand or know, but the Ashbringer does more damage than Might of Manifold, especially in bombs. If you do a proper Seal Twist, the Ashbringer proc, I have the wrong one. It's there. There. The Ashbringer proc, it can proc multiple times per auto, and also every time you have Seal of Righteous, it can proc off Seal of Righteousness as well. It can also proc out of the command proc. So let's say, when commander procs on your autos where you get the holy damage, it can proc off that too. So not only can it proc from the normal auto, but the commander proc as well, and then the Seal Twist. So I think that you can get a total of 12. Now you're probably never gonna get all 12, but the possibilities, you can get 12 Ashbringer procs, which is gonna be close to 3000 damage just from the proc itself. And you want the Fiery Enchant, because the same thing applies to the Fiery Enchant. You can get 12 procs from that as well. And Crusader doesn't really work on when you're doing Wreck Bombs. However, Fiery does. It does work. So if you just want to one-shot people, it's better to go Ashbringer with Fiery. Same with Maelstrom. You could use Slayer Crest instead of Maelstrom, but again, it just feels better when you're having all the procs. Specifically for bombing, maybe Slayer Crest is better, but if I'm running this setup, I usually run around with Maelstrom, because you're gonna Seal Twist every single auto. Your Seal Twists are gonna be, every Seal Twist is gonna be 45 mana if you use Libram of Hope. So yeah, you can basically do that infinitely. So you're gonna have twice the chance to proc Maelstrom. You're gonna be able to do between 3 to 4 procs every single normal auto, and if you have stacks, that's gonna multiply. So this is the absolute highest damage one. The bad thing about this build is its HP is much lower. Now your HP, this will be with Kings. You're usually gonna be sitting on 5k HP with Kings, maybe 5.2. So in Battlegrounds, if you get targeted, you're gonna die much faster. What's good with Might of Manifold is that it's not necessarily the damage it gives. The good thing with Might of Manifold is that it's the stamina. It gives you 500 stamina almost. Well, it is basically 500 with Kings, so now it scales. So it's 500 HP more, and this one will put you at, you get 1000 less HP compared to these two. And if you're not getting procs of your weapon, then Might of Manifold is better. So it's an RNG build. This is very RNG, but it has pretty good proc rate, very frequent, so most times this will do better. But these are the 3 builds you can go. I recommend people going this one, honestly. It's the standard classic one. If you're feeling adventurous, or if you like the rank 13 shoulders, you can use this one. Tiny bit less survivability, more damage. And this one for the funny memes, the insane, if you're making a montage, if you want to make a montage of one-shotting like anything, this is the one to go with. So yep, these are the best builds. Now you have to excuse me, while making this video I am currently testing out Deep Ret, but I'm gonna show you the Reckoning macros anyway, because you can use them on all specs. They're very basic. And there's 2 very important macros for Reckoning that everyone should know and needs to know, and they're both revolving around Seal of Justice. This is the first one. This is an auto seal twist into a Justice proc, and then you do an instant judgment to get the damage from the judgment on the CC'd target. So when you use Seal of Justice, when it procs, it CCs the target from anywhere between 1 to, I think it's 2 seconds. And during those 2 seconds, if you're fast enough, you can switch to Seal of Command and use a rank 5 one and judge it, and you will get the damage that it would do on a CC'd target. Now, it's a bit mana consuming, which is where Benedict comes into play, because if we check my current mana costs on the Judgment's rank 1, which is what you should use most of the time, is only 45 mana. And if we Seal Twist with let's see here, if we Seal Twist with Seal of Righteousness rank 1, it's completely free. See, it costs no mana to cast. So whenever you Seal Twist, that's why I always have 1 rank 1 stop and 1 rank 1 start. So it's always 45 mana. Costs nothing to Seal Twist. However, Seal of Justice is kinda pricey on the mana. But this macro, I'll show you how it looks. We're gonna hit some mobs until we get the proc. So that's how it looks. However, we were unlucky there, because it can be up to 2 seconds and we only got 1 second there. So we didn't have the time to get the proc. So we're gonna try that again. There, as you could see, we did for almost 500, which is what you do when the target is CC'd. But that's how it looks when you finally get it, and all you do is just spam this, because this will go, I'll display it a little bit more. This will go from you judge, and as long as you spam it, it goes into rank 5, and then if you judge it, it will then go back into rank 1, so you're ready for the next auto after that. Oh, here we go. There we go, you see the big crit there. And then we're back into a rank 1 after that. Even after, like, right after it's judging. See here? Just on the range, and you see, and then it queues up and you, all I do is spam 2. But you have to do it while on the green little mark on your swing timer. You should have a good swing timer, it will show you that. So that's a very important good macro for Reckoning. It's good for all Paladins, to be honest. Like, as long as you use a two-hander. I would never do this on a one-handed weapon. That would be a nightmare. but it's really useful. And then we have a second one too, which is this one. Now you cast Judgment into Seal of Justice. Now what you do here is you queue up a rank 1 commander, and then as long as you have Judgment up from range, you have a chance to proc Seal of Justice. You have a chance to proc it as a range like that. So you can see it will interrupt, and as usual it's between 1 to 2 seconds, and it's absolutely amazing when fighting healers or casters, because they are like kiting, or when people are running away, they're running away, and you're just suddenly like bam, see 2 seconds done, and then we can go into Hand of Justice right after. Now on Deep Red it's even better, because you can just go into Repentance, which you can't do on these unfortunately, but against players you can. And go into Repentance. So it's very useful. See here, you can just stun, jump away, Hand of Justice. So those two are extremely important. And then for Seal Twisting, the rank ones, you know, just rank 1 stop, and then command 1 start. For normal Seal Twisting, your autos can do that as well. And then you can have another useful macro that I use for the Reckoning, the heal version, you know, the one where you have Spiritual Focus and you have Consecration Aura. An important one to have is, let's see if I can find it, this one. So you want to use Scroll. Let's wait for us to get it on cooldown. Now we have it on cooldown here. So what this does is use Scroll, and then it casts Blessing of Light on you, and it goes into a rank 9 Holy Light right away, and it looks like this. And it's fast Holy Light. Now you only do it once. You only press this, you press this twice and you get the first cast, and it looks like this. And it's a fast, quick, max possible heal on yourself, which is good, again, on the Reckoning one, where you have Spiritual Focus and Consecration Aura. Good emergency thing to do, you know, you cast Hajj, you do that real fast, you're about to die, and it keeps the fight going. Then you pop your Burrower, you're extra protected. So if you don't have Slayer Crest, or want a viable thing to change the Slayer Crest from, I mean, of course, Hand of Justice is fine as well, but the Scroll is actually really good. And not only that, right after you're done casting 1 or 2 heals, you now have the increased attack speed as well, which is really good against casters. So yeah, Scroll is actually very slept on trinket. It's really, really good. Another somewhat good macro to have is Cancel Aura. Sometimes you want to use the bubble just to get out of a CC. So let's say you get feared, priest is almost the priest is almost dead. He's 1 auto away from being dead, but he fears you, and you want to just run up and kill him. So you can just bubble, and then if you press the bubble again, it cancels away the bubble, so you keep your normal attack speed. So the problem with that is sometimes if you're panicking, you might press Divine Shield twice and it will remove the bubble. But as long as you have a calm head and you only press the button once, you get your normal bubble. And what you can do with the Scroll too is you bubble and do the other macro, this one, and you heal yourself up very fast. And then if you have rank 1 running, you know, you use your range stun if they're like trying to run away during that time. So those are very important, good macros to have. Another thing that could be useful, that's like very specifically, like it's not something important but something you can have, is you can have equip macros. So for me, When I run Reckoning, I only use 2. I have my Might of Menefall with Libram of Hope, and then if I want to do some stronger healing, I switch to Libram of Light and my healing gear. So it looks like this. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. Here, you can swap between these two with a simple button press, which is very useful to do. Say you just want to heal up real fast, and then bam, right back into action, ready for more damage. You're not gonna use this a lot on Reckoning, because when you heal, you're gonna get hit, and you want to get critted and stack up your autos. But it's an important and good thing to have anyway. Another thing that's good to know is that your Librams, they can be swapped mid-combat. They count as weapons, so you can swap between. You can have a macro where you swap between Libram of Hope to Libram of Light if you want to just have a little bit extra oomph into your Flash of Light. But those are such small micro details that I don't think most people would run with. Anyway, that's about all the macros that I would recommend for Reckoning. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this guide. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.